Hello, I'm Cat Cosplay and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you a bunch of different methods to create texture in foam. I've gotten a lot of questions about how I do this, so I'm going to show you how you can create a bunch of different textures using just a couple of different tools. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you have any other questions. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and bell notification for the next time I put up a new video. Alright, let's get to making some textures in foam. Okay, so these are the two tools which I use to make texture in foam. This is a rotary sanding tool, otherwise known as a Dremel, and this is a wood burning tool. Wood burning tools are relatively cheap. This was $15 and it came with a whole bunch of other tips. So this can be used to make different textures as well as the Dremel. Please note when this is plugged in, this whole section, this whole part gets very hot and is very dangerous. So this is not currently plugged in. Don't touch this when it's hot and plugged in. And to change out tips, you're going to need to let this cool down completely. So be careful when using and changing tips. So I'm going to be demonstrating a bunch of different texture techniques using a number of different tips. So right now there is a tip in here that is for creating texture on the surface. And then there's a number of other tips out here that are for creating lines and other types of textures. Same with the Dremel. I'll be using a number of different barrels to create different textures in the foam. If you are wood burning or dremeling, you need to wear protection against dust and fumes. If you are creating lines in foam with a wood burner, it's really smelly. So I've gone ahead and made a couple of different textures using different tips for the Dremel and the wood burner, and I'm just going to demonstrate a couple of those and show you which tips do what and how you do them. So to make these little tiny holes, which is good for like making bone texture or some more organic textures, you're going to need to use this little tiny tip. And when it heats up, you just poke it into the foam and pokey holes, and that's how you make those textures. Down here, I've used the Dremel with a couple different tips to make different types of both organic and inorganic textures. So the sanding barrel is what I used to make these line textures. So if you can see up close, it's just great for making bone textures. And when you're using the Dremel, you're just going to go like that to make the lines. Pro tip, you can clean up dust really well with a lint roller. To make these little round circles and this deeper divot here, I used this tip here. This is a stone bit tip. It's one of the tips that come with your Dremels. I've got a lot of different tips. You can also make textures by pressing tips into foam. So I used this tip here with the wood burner and pressed that in. So that creates a really interesting texture. And then you can use this tip to also create lines. It's a little bit of a different type of line than the lines that are made with the Dremel, and I'm going to demonstrate using this tip. These are great for making like textures on horns and organic costume pieces. You can see how the wood burner and the Dremel make different textures, and both are good. They're just different. You can try out different tips, experiment. You know, there's things like this where you could stamp circles, all kinds of different things. The world is your oyster. Well, I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.